What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I am so excited you are here for real. Today's episode, I think, is nothing that I've ever delivered to you before. Yes, I've talked about manifesting. Yes, my business is deep into manifesting right now and throughout the spring, the first quarter of 2024, but I've never talked about this. I want to talk to you about the shadow side of manifesting because, yes, it is a thing. It does exist. And it's really important we understand and decipher what the heck is really going on when we enter into the shadow side of manifesting. And after this episode, you're going to have a completely different framework, a completely different relationship to the shadow side. You're going to see it very differently, and you're going to understand some expert level knowledge that not everyone understands when it comes to shadow. Because when you don't get this, you're going to see the shadow and you're going to retreat. You're going to freak out. You're going to overreact. You're going to react falsely because it's actually not the thing you think it is. Okay. So, above all, today's message is when you learn what the shadow really is, when you incorporate these skills and these mindset and this relationship twist that I'm about to give you, you are going to keep going. Nothing is going to scare you. Nothing is going to stop you because of these tools. So, let's get into it. First and foremost, thank you so much for being here. You guys who are my long term listeners to this podcast, it's coming up to 2.5 years that this show has been airing. I'm so excited you are here. It's so honored and so grateful. If you're new, welcome. My name is Kim Fisher. I'm a holistic manifesting, empowerment, and entrepreneurial coach, and I help people find, refine, and sustain the life of their dreams in order to have a life that's filled with happiness, joy, achievement, and success. And my brand does this through immersive membership experiences that are online, high level one on one and mastermind programs, as well as exclusive in person retreats and events. So there's a whole bunch of things that are always going on inside of my brand and inside of my business. But above all, I love giving you guys free content. So do me a favor, if you're watching this video on YouTube and you like this content, support me, please. I would be so grateful to you. Like this video and go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell also, like my mom does. She's my number one fan, and she gets those updates all the time on her phone. So that way you know when I release a video, which is just about weekly. Okay. So, you guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about the shadow side of manifesting. Are you ready? So, first and foremost, let's just set the record straight right now. The universe is not out to get you. Woo! Like, it doesn't work like that. The universe isn't that kind of intelligence. The universe isn't a game to beat. It's not a game that's coded to get at you if you're messing up in any way. The universe has one job. The mirror of reality has one job, and that's to reflect back to you what you show it. So the universe is only ever reflecting back what you give it. That's why we always say you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. You've got to get clear on, you've got to be watchful and mindful of the moments that you are not thinking, acting, speaking, deciding in accordance with, in alignment with, and the attitude of your highest timeline. What do I mean by that? When we're going throughout our day, and we are in autopilot, which, guys, by the way, it's 90% of the time you are in autopilot. This is why this is so freaking important that you do the subconscious work, because we want the autopilot, the subconscious autopilot, to be pristine and high vibe and aligned and had the attitude of, I'm unstoppable, I'm already her, I'm already the person I want to be. And so there's no traps, there's no tripwires, there's no holes and pitfalls of the subconscious mind. I mean, they'll kind of always be there. We always got to work on ourselves. But the majority of our subconscious mind can be reprogrammed to do really great things. And so that when you're in that 90% of autopilot living, you are actually living your fullest potential. So that's number one here. But when you're in autopilot, let's say you haven't done a lot of the subconscious work yet, and that's okay. A lot of us haven't. We all start with the with the subconscious scripts our parents gave us, and their parents and their parents and their parents. We haven't done the work. So we're starting with our baseline out of the box subconscious programming. What you want to do is become very aware throughout the day what vibe you're in, because what we have to do here is get crystal clear. Are you fooling yourself? Are you walking around believing that you're actually high vibe? Are you believing that you're positive? Are you believing that your positive affirmations are on point? Are you believing that you're loving yourself? But when you actually stop to check in, your thoughts are actually pretty negative. You're actually feeling energetically low. You're actually feeling like life is out to get you versus I'm out to get life. So, how we become aware, one, is mindfulness practices. Make sure that you are meditating and practicing the art of concentration and presence. If you want to learn how to do that, hop inside the Rise Revolution membership. It is always open, you guys. The doors are always open. The notes, the links are below this video or below this audio. You guys can join. I always teach you mindfulness based techniques because otherwise the mind gets away from us. And before we know it, it's 4 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, and we've had most of the day in reactionary mode and negative thinking and self hate. Remember, the universe is only ever going to reflect back to you what you are, what your beliefs are. Right? So if we're 90% of the time, every single day, having these low vibe, worrisome, panicky, reactive thoughts, the universe is only ever going to reflect back to you low vibe, panicky, reflective life, reflective living. Okay, which only then confirms to you what you believe to be true. But a lot of us are walking around going, I'm high vibe because I got my crystals. I high vibe because I got my vision board. I'm high vibing because I got my whatever. Like I'm listening to my binaural beats. Those are all surface level tools. They're powerful, but without the deeper subconscious work, you're not going to get anywhere. So stop fooling yourself and make sure that you're checking in throughout the day. Make sure that you are doing your manifesting and visualization and mindfulness and contemplative meditative practices. And make sure that you have on your cellular device and on your Google Calendar. Give yourself a chance to get tripped up and brought out of the day's events. And by I mean tripped up, I mean set yourself up with a positive tripwire. Google Calendar reminders, guys. Ha ha. Tip 2024, you want to change your life? 2 to 3 times a day on your Google Calendar, have a 15-minute reminder that pops up that asks, what are you thinking about? Who's in control? Subconscious or conscious mind? Which version of you is running this show right now? Is this the past you or the future you? Have those reminders set in your calendar to go off to tripwire you so that it interrupts your attention and makes you, forces you to check in and say, oh my God, actually, I have been pretty negative. Okay. Because remember, the universe isn't out to get you guys. When something negative happens in your life, the universe isn't out to get you. It's you seeing who you really are. So when difficult times arrive, when you're not getting your way, when things are going as well, when you're feeling negative and worrisome, and we say, God, I've been doing all my manifesting practices, but the universe isn't really giving me positive people. The universe isn't really giving me my money. The universe isn't really giving me. We have to stop putting so much um, responsibility on the universe. The universe is just a mirror. The universe is reality, and reality is only ever going to show you what you are. So, now that we've talked about course correcting, now that we've talked about putting those positive tripwires in so you pay attention, now that we've talked about you getting the skill of mindfulness and meditation under your belt, we can really start to think about that the universe is our teacher. When we see a shadow, we can say, oh my God, thank you. So instead of seeing a shadow, instead of seeing, when I say shadow, I mean things not going right, negative things happening. Instead of seeing the shadow and going, oh my God, this is a sign I'm effing up. This is a sign that nothing's going right. This is a sign that I am not worthy or the universe is out to get me. I want you to remind number one, universe isn't out to get you. Universe is just reflecting back who you are. Oops. Okay. So I guess this is a sign that I need to check in with that part of myself. So what is the negative thing you're seeing? This is the next part of this is get curious and get like experimental with the shadow. What exactly is the shadow that you're seeing? Are you attracting in low vibe people who don't love themselves? Well, then the sign is that you have to start loving yourself more to then attract in people who love themselves more. is the sign, is the shadow that you're having a difficult time making money. Well, then the work there, the teacher, the reflection isn't that you aren't worthy of making money. It might be that you just don't have avenues set up to bring money in. Sometimes we actually have to take action, multiple streams of ways to make money. So again, the negative sign isn't a life sentence. Your shadow isn't a sign that you're messing up. The shadow is a sign to teach you where you can grow. And so that brings me to my next point, which is shadow as a teacher. Not only are we now recognizing, hopefully, I made it very clear, the universe isn't out to get you. The universe is just a mirror. And so anytime we see shadow or something we don't like, or we run into a difficult, painful situation, or our answer is no, we could go, okay, that's a shadow. I don't like it. That's really not positive. But have I really projected that out? So I can use this now as a lesson to see where can I clean it up? Where can I actually step more into my power? Where can I step more into affirmations of abundance to remedy my unconscious mind, to see where the shortcomings are inside of myself and take action to heal that up. Is this making sense? I hope so. So we really saying that anytime that there's a shadow in our life, while we're manifesting all of this positive stuff, don't stop because this is just a sign of where you get to grow. So this is beautiful, you guys. Anytime shadow is there, I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm going to learn how to embrace this. Case in point, I'm going to give you a real example that happened yesterday. So I'm collaborating with a partner for an upcoming virtual event. And it's going very well. But we had to have a really difficult conversation yesterday about profit split. And we both approached it very professionally. We both approached it with a lot of love and a lot of respect. And we heard each other out and we came to a beautiful conclusion of how our profit will be split. But leading up to yesterday for 2 full days, I was very much in my own shadow. Now, I had manifested working with this person and I had manifested this opportunity and it feels fully abundant. So I'm absolutely manifesting positivity and light, but my shadow was very present at the same time. My shadow was showing up as negative thoughts about worry. I was playing out these fake, imagining arguments over what she would say and what I would say and how we would clash and how there'd be a lot of turmoil. All lies. But my shadow was right there. Do you see what I mean? So, in this beautiful positive moment that I manifested, right there was the shadow. So, instead of here's the power move. Instead of believing my shadow, I welcomed it. I recognized it for what it was: fear, false evidence appearing real, FEAR, fear. And then I used it as a teacher. I said, thank you. Thank you, universe, for reflecting back to me within the thoughts of my own mind, not necessarily out in front of me in the 3D world, but the thoughts in my own mind were my shadow. Here is where I get to grow. Here is the intersection. Do I believe my negative, fearful thoughts? Do I believe the shadow? Or do I decide that the shadow can be present? And I acknowledge that this is now the doorway into learning about myself. Got it? So the conversation I decided was going to be beautiful. I decided that I would lead it and be brave and be bold. And my fear was still there. My shadow was still there. However, I went forward anyhow. So now I have always now this memory of that shadow moment and the potential to stop and shut down and believe the fear. But instead, I chose love. I chose positivity. I chose to believe in myself, the universe, and the abundance of life. And as a result, I now have this incredible lesson no one could ever take from me. And a lesson that's mine is wisdom because I lived it. And now I know for future reference, anytime I'm in my mind, and you guys probably know what I'm talking about, you get those negative ruminating thoughts. I now have a statistical record of not believing the thoughts and things going really well. So what do you think my reaction is going to be next time I have negative thoughts? I'm probably going to say, hey, negative thoughts, I see you. Hey, shadow, thank you. Thank you for showing me where I get to grow. So let me step right into you. And it's the most beautiful thing. And I highly recommend you start doing it yourself. So, the other point I want to make here when it comes to shadow and helping you reframe the beauty of shadow of manifesting is to learn a little bit about the hermetic law of opposites. Have you heard about the hermetic law? There are seven of them, I believe, altogether. But the hermetic law of opposites has to talk about how everything is the same. There's there's a duality: hot, cold, up, down, inhale, exhale, pain, pleasure, wealthy, broke, healthy, sick, shadow, light. Everything has poles in the universe. Everything is dual. Everything has a pair of opposites, okay? But the opposites are actually identical in nature because they're on one big broad spectrum. So you can think of it kind of like a color picker. That's how I think of it in my mind. Like if I went to the color picker right now on in Canva and I was designing some colors, I could go to red, but then I could change the hue. You know what I'm talking about? And you could drag it to the left and the hue would change to either get more this way, like a darker red or a lighter red. And it's the same way with hot, cold, richer, poorer, sick, health, happy, sad. It's the same damn color. We're just sliding ourselves to one side and it seems like it's that shade. But then we slide the other way and it seems like it's that shade, but it's all red. In the same way, shadow and light is the same damn color. It's the same damn thing, except we're just experiencing different hues, if you will, different shades of the same energy. Everything always comes in pairs. Everything is dual, but it's of the same nature. It's of the same essence. It's of the same truth. So, in that understanding, all paradoxes can instantly be reconciled because when you are manifesting something great, like let's say I suddenly manifested $20,000, how awesome would that be, right? But with it, I'd have to think, well, what did I do to get that $20,000? So let's take the word suddenly out. I manifested it because I was showing up more online. I got myself out there and was interviewed on other podcasts. I marketed a lot more. I attracted in more clients. I maintained those relationships. I had a lot of sales funnels going out. I had reels. I had YouTube videos. I had podcasts. I had memberships. I had speaking gigs. I had all of these things. I was being seen more and showing up more. I developed a lot of trust and consistency, relationship, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of stress, a lot of elbow grease went into developing all of those opportunities for $20,000 to show up. Can you see how the $20,000 show up is a great manifesting light moment? But underneath it all, probably was a lot of shadow. Doesn't it make sense now that we're still talking about the same thing? The hard work that went into making $20,000, the hard work that went into maintaining a 20-year marriage, the hard work that went into maintaining a 20-year career, the hard work that went into this and that, the hard work of discipline of diet and health and exercise that maintained a vital body. No matter how you're looking at it, there's always going to be some sort of shadow that went into the light and some sort of light that went into the shadow. It's the same thing. It comes from the same source. They're identical in nature. So, right there, neutralizing your reaction to it is essential because it's neither good or bad. It just is. Paradoxes can instantly be reconciled because of this. Now, continuing a little bit further with this, I want you to think about shadow and light as a pendulum. When we swing all the way in one direction, we're all the way in our light. When we take another ball and we swing it out the other way, and that's all the way in our darkness. When you have two extremes at their furthest point, they're actually closest that they're ever going to be together. Because one more degree, complete that circle, and we're able to come right around and touch each other. If you're watching this video, you can see my hands. It makes it easier. If you're listening to this podcast, you might have to visualize my right hand going all the way out, holding a pendulum up high, my left hand going all the way out near my ears, almost like in the shape of a smile with both hands. And I'm holding these pendulums, but at these high points, They might seem at first glance like these pendulums are very far away from each other: success, failure, happiness, joy, light and shadow within your manifesting. But because everything is of the same spectrum, everything is a circle, everything is made of the same essence, they are actually primed to come together and meet. If we continue to lift them up, boom, they start right back at the start for both ends. It's only when we're kind of down here where we're kind of doing our meditation work, when we're kind of experiencing success, and we're kind of some days is dragging, some days we're not really doing well, but some days we are. It's that in between, that wishy washy split energy that we're actually very far away from absolute. Absolute being you are 100% that person. You are 100% on your way. You're 100% taking action in the world as that future desired self. It's when we're in that wishy washy, kind of low in the pendulum swing, that we're really far away from 100% completion. So you almost want to be completely experiencing shadow and light. You almost want complete opposites in your life because it is a sign of the Hermetic law that you are absolutely in balance and in harmony. When things are fully swinging in one direction, they are absolutely swinging in the other. If you are fully experiencing being broke right now, you are very close to experiencing full wealth because they are on the opposite, but the closest point in the scale. Because everything is connected as a circle, everything is one big energy. So when we have things that are extreme, that are painful, we are just as about to ready to experience the extreme of the joy. When things are extremely joyful, we are just as likely to experience the extreme opposite of sadness. And that is beautiful. Here's the last point why. Stay with me. Because it's only when we experience the extreme opposite that we remember why we want the other. And so now the relationship changes one step again. When you have something happen in your life that you don't like, a huge bill came in the mail and you suddenly have to pay $2,000. Someone got sick in your family and there's a really terrible diagnosis. Whatever it is, you got fired from your job. These terrible things happen all of the time. Now we get to say thank you. No, I don't like that you're here, and no, it's a terrible thing. But however, you are showing me the power of opposite. Because you are a shadow in my life, I remember why so badly I want the light. So now, when we see things like negative comments under our Facebook posts, or we don't get the yes that we wanted from that job offer, instead of dwelling on it, we can say thank you. That's actually not what I wanted. So therefore, I am more resolute that over here, the swing, the pendulum swing in the opposite direction, it's even more clear now that that's what I want. So we say thank you to the shadow. We say thank you, and we immediately put our sights back on what we want. This is the important key about shadow, is that remember, you're only ever going to see what you are. And so when we see the totality of life, lightness and dark, pleasure and pain, success and failure, shadow and light, we are only ever seeing the totality of us. And because we are one with the universe, doesn't it make sense that you would see the Hermetic law in action reflected back at you? Your job is to remain unattached. Your job is to see the light and shadow as the same damn thing. It doesn't matter. And as extremely as painful as a shadow moment can be, get excited because that means you are as close as you can be to pleasure. I'm going to give you a more real example right now. Have you ever gone through a painful moment? Of course you have. When someone dying, when you're grieving for that person, probably at the funeral, there's something beautiful that happens with that grief and that it brings everyone together. When there's a tragedy in the world, fires and devastations in Australia a couple years ago, the tsunami several years ago in Japan, um, right now, the war that's going on, a couple different places. When we as a humanity witness terror and destruction on an abysmal level, what happens to us? It unites us, right? We rally, we talk about it, we want change together, we take action together. And right there, you have the example of the Hermetic law playing out. The pain and the pleasure, the separateness and the togetherness, at first glance seem like they are very different. But when you have an extreme, such as grief, you instantly experience the extreme of love and togetherness. And this is the beauty of shadow and light. This is the beauty of seeing your life through the Hermetic principles. This is the beauty of understanding the mirror principle that you're only ever going to see what you are. And you are no separate. You are no different from the universe. You are the universe. You are source, the divine God. So you're going to see your exact principles playing out. Again, I'm going to reiterate this and close this out. Your job is to practice your meditation to be present and make sure you're not getting caught up in overreacting to the shadow. The shadow is the light. The light is the shadow. I am that. That is me. Om Tat Sat for my yogis out there. That is me. I am that. Om Tat Sat. So don't panic when there's shadow. See it for what it is. The shadow is the light is the shadow. Okay, so be it. I continue onward. Is this an opportunity for me to be in the doorway of learning about myself? Do I like what the shadow? What can I learn about the shadow? Is the shadow teaching me something here? Can I be curious about the shadow? Is the shadow my guru, the teacher? Yes, absolutely. Learn from the shadow, course correct inside of you, improve upon yourself. But then remember, stay unattached. It is the shadow is the light is the shadow, Hermetic principle. The closer you are to experiencing bullshit and darkness and shadow and agitation in your life, I'd say good because you are on your way, baby. The more intense the shadow, the more intense the light. All you have to do is reframe your perspective to it, and you are untouchable. All right, guys, there you go. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this deeply served you and gives you some more food for thought and a reframe on shadow and when it comes your way, because baby, it's going to keep on coming. But now you know how to keep on going with no issue and be shoop, slick right through that. It is so safe. It is the most beautiful thing ever. I'm curious what you think about this. Let me know if you're watching the YouTube video in the comments below. Guys, don't forget to like, share this with someone if you feel like someone else could really use this information. And I'd really appreciate your subscribe as well, you guys. Love you. Mwah. See you next week.